meditation for you. It's on the Facebook page at 4:30. And then if you missed that, you can go to unityorlando.org and click on the link and watch it at your leisure. And you can watch previous ones as well. Couple announcements. We have a great big thank you going out to Billy Arwood of Billy Tree. He came over on Friday. He's one of our wonderful members. He came over and trimmed the big oak tree in the back so that Waste Management can put the dumpster back in its normal place. So it's not in the driveway anymore. So thank you, Billy. Also, just a reminder, of course, that we still are following the Orange County requirements for wearing a mask while you're in your seat. So thank you for that. And if the cameras are on, we're down to 2. If they're not on, we're down to none. Don't worry. Anyway, Reverend Bob's, and speaking of cameras, Reverend Bob's lesson today is adjusting self-image. So it's a perfect lesson for us. But before we begin, we're going to turn it back over to Brian and our music department for another song.
All right. Thank you, Susan Francis. Nice mic job on there. All right. Well, this song is called Adventures in Body Form. Walking into the light, I see my angels come into a line, making my way through this momentary moment in my life. Illuminary beams floating in and out, communicating feelings, talking to me and about adventures in body form, angels form in uniform. I am alive to experience all the joy I can see. I am alive to embody all the miracles in me. Come through me and see through me. God's love eternally, eternally. I can seek. I am alive to expanding all the miracles in me. Come through me and be me. God's love eternally. Come through me and be me. God's love eternally. On and on. Eternally. On and on. On and on. Eternally. Eternally. On and on.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Thank you. Ah. It just made you want to go on and on and on. I love that. I love that line. Well, good morning. And good morning. Guess what? Number one, this is the service that we're recording for broadcast this morning. We've had some problem with iLive streaming. So consequently, this service will be recorded and it'll go up this afternoon. So when I look at the little box up here, that's because I'm looking at all the other people who would be filling those pews if they were here. So this is our special service. Oh, I do also want to give a special thank you. She already mentioned it, but Billy Arwood. And by the way, that's Tree Billy, not Billy Tree, but in either case, what was going to happen, wait, and you got these ears are really interesting. I heard you say Waste Magic, and I thought, what a wonderful name. Actually, it's Waste Management, and they were, I know that's what you said, but that's what I heard. In any case, they were going to say, they dropped a dumpster off in the middle of the parking lot, said, we can't get it under the tree limbs. Well, I was thinking maybe I was going to have to crawl up there and try to cut that thing off, and it's a thing this big around, you know. And I was trying to find someone who would be there to haul the body away. In the meantime, Billy got right over there and decided, no, this takes a professional, and he really is a wonderful tree man. And he came over and took care of us for us immediately. So thank you, Billy. This morning, what I want to talk about is adjusting self-image. Adjusting self-image. That's something that gets talked about these days, self-image. Everybody knows what self-image is. Do you realize that years ago, when I was a teenager, the idea of self-image was a new concept. It was something that was not well known, okay? And I remember growing up as a teenager, the hottest thing out there, the new book, and this was the whole beginning of the self-help books and so forth. The hottest book out there was Psycho-Cybernetics, okay? And it was about, part of it at least, was about developing a positive self-image so as to create a better life, a better life for yourself. Well, today we all know what self-image is. But we talk about the idea of creating a positive self-image. Do you understand that innate in that? Because self-image is very much your identity, okay? So innate in this idea of creating a positive self-image is the realization that identity is not something that is static. It's not something, people like to say, well, that's just the way I am and there isn't anything I can do about it. And there is nothing further from the truth than that. Your identity is always changing. You're not attached to or identifying with what you thought you were when you were 5 years old. When you were 5 years old, you had a certain identity. That's not you anymore. When you were a teenager, you had a different identity. And when I was a child, I spoke like a child. Now I'm an adult and I speak like an adult. Well, now we have another image of ourselves. So in the end, if you realize your identity, what you identify with, which is what your identity is, that's always changing. Our job is to make sure that we are identifying with the goodness within ourselves, rather than the flaws, the mistakes, and the stuff that's not so good. Okay? And why is it so important that we create a positive self-image? Now, I'm going to need to back off for a second and say self-image happens on a bunch of different levels. And right now, we're first going to talk about that lowest level, that level of the image you have of your personal self. Okay. And the reason it's important to have a positive image of our personal self is that in order to attract goodness into your life, you have to identify with goodness. Now, one of the big things that's always talked about is the law of attraction, and that we use prayer as to draw good things into our life, and we use the law of attraction as we set our sights on something to draw it to us. But here's the deal. I'm going to quote Wayne Dyer again. He said, "You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are." What are you radiating? If you're saying, I want this, and want involves, it's over there and I don't have it, and it causes me pain and lack to think I don't have it, you are not at all attracting it. You're probably driving it away. But if you're radiating joy, you're attracting joy. If you're radiating goodness, you're attracting goodness. That's the way the universe works. And so, in a very real sense, for our outer lives, and notice I'm going to spend this whole talk defining a difference between outer and inner, or lower and higher, that there are levels of self. Okay, but for our outer lives, we have got to start identifying with the positive part of our outer being if we want our outer being to attract anything good to it. Okay? You say, whoa, well, is that really spiritually based? Absolutely. Jesus said, "Be it done to you according to your belief." Another place he said, according to your faith. Well, faith is what you know. Faith is not actually, I like to, in fact, next week we're going to work on faith. But faith is not just saying something is so. It is not even believing it is so. It is knowing to the depth of your being that it is so. Well, what do you know about yourself? If you have a negative self-image, you know you don't deserve anything good. That's what you know about yourself. So to not be driving away all the, quote, good that God has for you, you've got to at least lift into the realization of, I am identifying with the goodness within me. There is good in me. There is beauty in me. There is something wonderful in me. Is there this other stuff? Yeah. Don't worry. It's there. Everybody has. We're all making mistakes. This outer being is a frail being. It is not perfect. It is learning. It is growing. Like a child. And that's how you need to look at this outer self. It's a child growing up. But when you look at that child, do you just see all their mistakes? Or do you see the good inside of them? Do you see the potential? And that's what we need to do with our self-image, our self-identity. We need to lovingly embrace our outer being and see the goodness that's there. Everyone has goodness in them. No matter how much they may accentuate the other side, there's at least some goodness. And you can start identifying with that goodness. Now, you begin to know that you deserve good things. Be it done to you according to your faith. Now you're open to drawing good things into your life. So quite frankly, a positive self-image is, at least to some degree, important to effective prayer. You can pray all you want, but if your faith knows you don't deserve it, you're not going to get it. I don't deserve this. You're just throwing out the opposite energy. Now, this positive self-image, we've kind of gone a weird way in society with this. We've suddenly decided, okay, I'm going to have a positive self-image. I am the greatest. I am the most wonderful in the world. Everything I do is wonderful. Ta-da. And we know darn well that ain't true. And a positive self-image is not bravado. It's not lying to yourself. A positive self-image is actually looking at the parts of you that do deserve praise and praising them honestly. It's not pretending you're great. It's seeing the part of you that is. Now, years ago when I first came to this church, someone stuck in my hands a cassette tape. That's how long? Yes. And I think it was a new technology at that time. In either case, they stuck a cassette tape in my hands saying, this is a really good seminar. You need to listen to this. And it was called Lighten Up. And I suddenly realized it was a weight loss program. Okay, now you got to understand, 26 years ago, when this happened, I was at least 20 pounds lighter than I am now. Overweight was not my problem. I'd always been skinny and scrawny. Okay, so I thought, what is this person doing, putting this seminar Lighten Up in my hands? And I listened to it and I realized this is good stuff. Because the theory was, if you love your body, if you're overweight, you'll lose weight. If you're underweight, you'll gain. I mean, the bottom line is your body will move to health when it is loved. Now, it got kind of interesting, and we had many Sundays in which we discussed the techniques they suggested using, such as you were supposed to go through your body and tell each part of your body that you love you. My shoulder. I love you, shoulder. And you're going on down. I love my elbow. And you go through and you tell each part of your body that you love it. Okay. And that wasn't enough. They wanted you to go, okay, treat it like a kitty cat, pet it. So, I love you, shoulder. And you're going through and petting your whole body and loving each part of it. And we determined that you should never, ever do this in front of anyone. But there were thousands of people who testified that this was amazingly effective in their lives. Once they learned to love their bodies got healthy. This is a major principle. And it doesn't just apply to bodies. It applies to your personality too. We need to love the outer personal self. We, the being who's behind it all. Remember, I just said there are levels to identity and levels to being. We, the being who's behind it, need to love the personal self the way we love the body. We know it's not perfect, but we love it into greater health. And that is true with your personal self also. That's what creating a positive self-image is about. It's not about bravado, I am the greatest. It is about, I love myself. I know I've got flaws and I make mistakes, but I have compassion upon this being and its struggle to grow and learn. It's like a little child. Your personal self, no matter how sophisticated you think you are, is like a little child. And the part of you that always was, that was before you came into this life and will be after you leave it, and is right now, that part of you can love this personal self and all that it's got to go through. And that, and a great deal of that love is creating a positive self-image. Being positive about this self, yeah, it has work to do, but we love it anyway. So, how do you love your personal self and encourage a positive self-image on this personal level? Well, number one, stand back and look objectively at yourself. We have a vested interest in not seeing what idiots we look like most of the time, okay? I don't want to see what an idiot I look like. I want to believe they think I'm wonderful. They probably don't. And it probably doesn't matter. It's what you think that matters. So, stand back, look at yourself objectively, and love your personal self as a small child. You would look at a small child and you would not be upset with them because they had not learned everything yet, because they were making stupid mistakes. You would encourage them, and you'd have compassion on them when they fall down. And that's how we, the self behind it all, need to approach this outer self that we're living in right now. Cut yourself some slack. You're just learning and growing like everybody else. See your positive qualities. We so often get infatuated with our negative qualities. We don't tell other people, but it bugs us to no end that I have this and this and this, and I can't seem to get over that, and I'll avoid it with other people to no extent, to the ends of the earth. But, okay, you can see the negative side. That's a skill, to see where your shortcomings are. But an even greater skill is to see where your strengths are. Can you do that? Because you all have strengths. You all have beauty. You all have parts of your being that are worthy of praise. Can you see that? Can you know? Can you say, I love this about me. This is a good thing about me. Can you praise the good parts of yourself or the good things you've done? So often we finish up a job and, that's finished. Now what's next? We don't give ourselves any time to enjoy it. Take a moment. That's the moment at which someone should normally come along, and normally if we're married, we all go get our spouse, and we're disappointed because they didn't get as excited about what we did as we hoped they would. But in either case, we say, here, tell me how good I was. And they say, yeah, okay, you did good. And, and we're often running to the next thing, self-praise. Praise yourself. Say, I do good work. I'm actually happy with this. Don't put that responsibility on somebody else. Take a few moments to praise yourself. If you're going through a failure, your job as the CEO of this life, the greater self, is to let go of self-loathing, something we all like to do when we're failing. To let go of disappointment and let go of self-cynicism. Well, that always happens to me. Et cetera, et cetera. Let go of all of that. It's not going to make it any better. And have compassion on this self and what they're going through. Urge them on. Tell them, let them know they're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. You can do this. Urge them on like you would a child who'd fallen down and you're helping them get back up. If you're getting older, give yourself credit for what you can still do. Not what you can't. Okay? Don't get caught up in I can't do this anymore. Say, hey, I'm pretty proud of myself. I can still do a few things. That is great. Yeah, Robin, I can still dive over my dog and make a 3-point landing, even if I do go to the hospital for it. And remember, that's not me. Okay? I am the soul in the end. And this that my body and my personal self are going through, with the body not functioning quite as well as it used to, and memory seeming to go on a few things, that's just a phase that every personal self goes through. It's part of the learning process. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it is. And then see the beauty that's inside of your personal self and inside of your body. Remember, you see the beauty in your body, it gets healthy. See the beauty in yourself, and you'll become a much more radiant being. What I'm actually asking you to do is to water and fertilize. That is to nurture your personal self and your body. To raise this personality as you would raise a child to fulfill its potential. That's what you want. You're raising your personality so that it can fulfill its potential. Now notice, all of this hinges upon a realization that you are more than body and personal self. And so in the end, when I'm talking about readjusting self-image, we first talked about increasing a better self-image of your outer self. But what I'm really talking about is adjusting your self-image inward and realizing I'm a soul. I am a spiritual being going through a human experience. But I am more than this. I am more than this personal self. In John 10:34, Jesus said to them, "Is it not so written in your law, I say ye are gods?" Or 1 John 3:2, "My beloved, now we are the sons of God." Now we are the sons of God. Not somewhere off in the future. Right now we are the sons of God. We can't, he goes on to say, we can't say with the future how we will change and grow and become more in the future. But right now we are the sons of God. We are the sons and daughters of the universe, of the Spirit that moves through all of life. And we are loved. And if we remember that, it is the part of us that is the son or the daughter of God that stands back here behind it all and watches. That is the observer, the soul. The soul is always observing. And when you step back for a moment and observe, you've moved into the greater part of yourself. How many of you have been in a situation where you watched, well, all of a sudden you could see yourself the way everyone else around you did, and you broke into laughter? I mean, I remember a time when I was just graduated from ministerial school. We were handling a bunch of Uniteens. We had them all on a bus. The day had been a really hard day with a lot of things going wrong. And here we're just trying to get them home, and they're all hanging out the windows of the bus. And I'm on there, Mr. Discipline. Get back in. You know, I am using my meanest tone of voice to try to get some discipline back into this crowd. And my partner, the other leader, a woman by the name of Nan, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Bob, just let me take care of this." And I'm thinking, why on earth would you stop me while I'm in the midst of trying to establish order? But for a moment when she did that, I backed off. And I looked, why did she say that? And I looked at myself, and I immediately broke into hysterics. I was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. But most of the time we're out here, we're not backing off and seeing ourselves. You are the Son of God. You are the daughter of God. You are deeply valued by Spirit. But this personal self, that's the court jester. If you've ever come face to face with what's within you. In John 14:12, he who believes in me shall do the works which I do, and even greater than these things shall he do. What's Jesus saying? You know, everybody wants to get in and say, ooh, this personal self, I'd like that power. I'm going to have it. Well, I'm sorry, it's not yours. It belongs to this self, to the higher self, to the part of you that was before you came into this earth, is right now, and will be after you leave it. And if you believe in Jesus, you essentially follow his instructions, and his instructions lead to soul awakening. And yeah, your soul can do all the things that Jesus did. In Romans 12:2, do not imitate the way of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. We do a lot of referencing, be ye transformed by the renewing of your minds. Right now, I really like the line before it too. Because what it says, do not imitate the way of this world. Don't get caught in the outer self. But be transformed in your mind by attaching to your soul. And realizing, I am more than all of this. Yes, I'm going through this in my outer experience. But I'm a spiritual being going through a human experience. Be ye transformed. And 1 John 4:4, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Occasionally we need to know that, because there are so many things we come up against with our outer self and we go, I am so badly outclassed here. I don't know how I'll ever get through this. But there is something inside of you that will carry you through this. So where's your identity attached? To that outer being who isn't up to it? Or to that inner soul which can handle whatever you need? Many years ago, I had an experience, a spiritual experience, and I've had a number of them in my life, and they make who I am. But the most important one I ever had, if you've been around here long, you've heard me reference it, so I'm not going to go through the whole process of how I arrived there. But at one point, I turned within, and I came face to face with what I now know to be my higher self, my Christ self, my soul, whatever it is you want to call it, that's inside of me. All I know is I turned within, and there was something inside of me amazingly wise, powerful, loving. This amazing being was inside of me. It scared the tar out of me, okay? At first I thought, what are you doing? I literally said in my mind, what are you doing in here? Didn't even faze this being. It's calm, peaceful. And it came as a knowing. That's how spiritual experience works. It comes as a direct knowing. And I went, oh my God, this is me. And what followed was this phenomenal sense of embarrassment, mortification, that I had spent my whole life thinking all that I was doing with this outer self was so important. When this amazing thing was going on inside of me, this amazing self was working with higher energies throughout my entire life, and I was paying no attention. Your soul is phenomenal. It is the child of God, and it's right there inside of you. But coming out of that experience, I remember making that commitment that I wanted to be part of the higher life inside of me. I wanted to be part of my soul. And I wanted to work with that higher self. Well, here's the deal. We spend much of our life defending this personal self. I'm really okay. Don't say I'm not okay. I'm just taking offense when anyone points out our frailties. If you've touched that which is within you that is majestic and awesome, you don't need to defend that outer self anymore. Your self-esteem does not come from what other people say to you. If your self-esteem is attached to your outer self, it's amazingly vulnerable. But when your self-esteem is attached to your soul, it can't be touched. So often I've said, Bob, I don't need to defend Bob. He makes all kinds of mistakes. He's a bumbling fool. But I make no apologies for what lies inside of me. For there's a power inside of me that I don't need anyone to recognize. I've seen it. I've seen who I am. And it's not Bob. It's something much more. And the same is true for every single one of you. When your self-esteem is attached to your soul instead of your personality, you'll never lose it. So how do we realign our self-image with our soul? Number one, become the observer of your life. Remember, it's the soul that observes, that watches you do stupid things and watches you do good things. It's watching all the time. So step back and observe yourself without judgment. Yourself doesn't need any more self-flatulation, what is that? Flatulation? The world has got enough flatulence, we don't need any more. Okay, I got that. Yeah, it doesn't need you to be whipping yourself. Let's try that one. Okay, let's head for a word I can handle. Step back and observe yourself. Watch yourself. Laugh at yourself. Have compassion for the agony that your personal self is going through, and often it is. And love yourself just the way it is, like you would love a child that you knew was learning and growing. You, the being inside, is eternal. You have the right to have compassion upon this young being, this young personality that you're living through for a short time. Number two, declare I am a child of God and God loves me intensely until you feel it. It's not good enough to say, God loves me. God loves me. I'm sure he does. God loves me intensely. I'm sorry, I don't get the feeling off that. You're going to have to say it until you can feel it. As if you're calling out and you're waiting for a response. If you call out, you will get a response. You'll get it. When you feel loved, you'll be touching your soul. You might want to affirm, God loves me now, and God will continue to love and protect me when I leave the earth. Remind yourself you are so much more. God loves me right where I am, and God's going to be there when I leave. So what am I worried about? Nothing. Number three, and this is just a simple practice that you just might find helpful. Every morning, image your perfect self, and then in your mind, step into that image. Okay? What you want to do is image. If you were your perfect self today, what would that look like? What would you expect of yourself if you were functioning out of your soul? If you were coming from the depths of your being, how would you approach life? Now, and once you have that image of that glowing, wonderful, spiritual being, of all that you're capable of in your mind, then step into it. Merge as if you're trying to take your personal self in and feel your soul even as you live out this personal life. See if that doesn't make a difference. Number 4 is to feel the majesty that lies within you. Take some time each day to feel, this outer being. On one end, I'll tell you it's worthless. On the other end, I'll tell you I love it dearly. Don't you all have a pet that's worthless, but you love dearly? And so it is with this personal self. But there is also majesty inside of you. Remember, there is a part of me for which I will make no apologies. None are ever needed. Can you feel that majesty deep inside. It's hidden deep inside. It's that light that's buried underneath the basket that Jesus said, take off the basket and let your light shine. Let that majesty shine through you. And the fifth and last, each day remind yourself, I am a soul, a celestial traveler from on high, come into the earth for just a little while. I'm just here for a little while. I'm a celestial being, not a human body. A human body allows me to have this specific experience, but that's not who I am. I'm a spiritual being. And if you can remember that, you can go through the drama of this personal self amazingly well. You aren't as closely identified with it. You aren't attached to its frailties. You observe them. But you're attaching a little bit more each day to that eternal being of light that I am, that I was before I came into this earth. I am right now, and I will be after I leave. That's the child of God. And if that's who you remember you are, then maybe you'll remember why you came here. I know we all think we came to learn and grow. No. That's a side effect. That's something connected to your outer being. Your soul? Your soul says, I am here to let God's light shine through me into the world. That's why you came. You came as the messenger of God. You are God's son or daughter. You are a spiritual being, and the light of God is shining through you even while you're not paying attention, which I found amazingly embarrassing when I discovered it. So, I am here to let God's light shine through me to the whole world. Wherever I go, I'm going to do my best to cooperate and keep my heart open because I know God's love and light is shining through me and is blessing the earth. I am here to let God's light shine through me into the world. Everyone together. I am here to let God's light shine through me into the world. Consciously or unconsciously, if you're going to attach your self-image to your soul, it's going to become conscious. At least a little bit. So, let me bring it to a conclusion. It's time we align our identity with the majesty hiding within us. If we can do that, even just a little bit, attach our identity to our soul instead of this outer drama of the personal self. The one that's behind, that observes, and loves you in spite of that stupid thing you just did. If we can do that and touch the majesty inside, it'll make our lives so much more fulfilling. And quite frankly, a lot of those negative arrows that we're so afraid are going to harm us, the arrows of life, they simply fall away harmlessly when we remember the greater picture. There's a whole lot more going on here than that. So let's close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath and sigh it out. And here within yourself, I want you to quietly step back and watch yourself in the pew or in your seat at home. See yourself sitting there in meditation. See yourself breathing. See what this outer self has done with their life, and just love them the way they are. Love yourself as you are. Have compassion on this child that you call your personality. Nurture it. Tell it it can get through whatever it needs to face, that there are resources within that will carry it. Now create an image of the higher self, that which is way behind the personal self, the perfect person that you could be. See yourself as that wonderful being of light that is the child of God. And in your mind, step into that image. And feel, this is who I am. I'm a child of God, an eternal soul. And as God's child, God loves me intensely. Feel that love surrounding you, enfolding you. Reaching out to you when you feel estranged. God loves me. And feel what God loves. Feel how peaceful, wise, beautiful, and joyous, loving the self is. Feel it connected to all that it needs, because God loves you. Sense that awe-inspiring being that lies underneath that outer self. The part of you for which you will make no apologies, for they need none. Pure majesty lies within my soul. And remember, I was before I came into this life. I am right now. And I will be after I leave this life. And I am here today to let God's love and light shine through me into the world around me. I am but passing through. But the world will be a better place because I walk through here. And as God's child, God loved the world right through my heart. Thank you, God, for the remembrance of who I am. Thank you, God. Amen. Now it's time for the usher to come forward. If you're at home, you go to the home page. You hit one of the Donate Now buttons at the top or the bottom, or you can mail us an offering, get off the web page. You can get the address. You can call the office to arrange for regular offerings. If you're here, it's easy. Curtis will take it. I want to thank you for your offerings. They truly make a difference. They're the reason we're still going. Together, let's affirm. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
All right, it's time for the song of the week. Wrote it Friday morning. Actually, had it ready to go. I had the title on Thursday morning, but a blank page. And I sent it to John, and he said, "You have a little work to do on that." Nice one. So I did, and here it goes. It's called "In Touch Again." I feel a light down deep inside. I feel it bright within me now. With an open mind, I walk a line and I'm feeling kind. I am open now and I can feel just how I'm in touch again. And Jesus Christ, come and help me out, yeah. I'm on your side. With an open mind, I can walk the line and I'm feeling kind. I am open now and I can feel just how I'm in touch again. I'm in touch again. I see the sunshine on the moon in the sky. By all the measures we know why. How did we manage to even be here in this time and space? I'm in touch again. Touch again. I haven't met you before, but it feels like I know you. I think I know it now. It's like we are the same. I am open now and I can feel it now. I'm feeling kind. I am open now and I can feel just how I'm in touch again. With an open mind, I can walk a line and I'm feeling kind. I am open now and I can feel just how I'm in touch again. I'm in touch again. Ooh, I'm in touch again. Ooh, I'm in touch again. Ooh, I'm in touch again.
you did pretty good on Friday. He did that extra work you told him to do. I'm impressed. That was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Be safe and live your adventure. Thanks for being part of Unity Orlando. Next Sunday, I'll be speaking on Have a Little Faith. Have a little faith. And because this is the recorded version, we're going to do the prayer of protection first. Let's all rise. The prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all, but